Good evening, everybody. Today is Wednesday, August 20th. This is a 9:30 broadcast because about a little bit of an interruption, I guess, about scheduling issues that I'm having. So hopefully this time works for everybody, whether you're viewing live or going back to watch it later. So first of all, thank you for those of you guys, I'm sweating again, I'm not sure why. For those of you who are able to join me and all of the support that you guys have shown, I so much appreciate it. Still tell your family, your friends, this is an opportunity to have a dialogue about sex and sexuality in the Black community. And I'm really excited for it. So I wanted to start by doing a couple of things, reminding you guys to like my pages on across social media platforms. I have Twitter, Facebook, IG. Now I have a new YouTube channel where we'll be posting these videos. Also on Snapchat. No, not Snapchat yet. We're going to work on that. As I'm saying this, I'm realizing that there's something that I need to not apologize for, but take ownership of. These social media posts and going live make me very, very nervous, and which is part of the reason I'm sweating. And I noticed that I say a lot. If you go back to the previous week's video, you'll notice it a lot. Like I go through and look at it to try to refine what it is that I'm doing to try to give you better presentations, information, and I came out a lot. So if you look at the video, perhaps you make it into a drinking game. Bring your friends over, take a shot for every time you hear me say or I, don't do both, one or the other, and then you'll be able to try not to get fucked up before the end of the video. That's all I can say. So if you have questions or comments throughout the live broadcast, feel free to post. I'll answer them right away. So a couple other things. Happy birthday to a few of my coworkers, Stacy, Vicky, and Sarita. Sarita's birthday's tomorrow. Stacy just had Stacy's birthday's coming up, and Vicky's birthday, I think, just passed. So also happy birthday to my best friend and one of my biggest supporters, Jasmine. Her birthday's on Friday. So happy birthday, baby girl. We will do something for you. Let's see. Our topic for tonight is understanding your sexual response cycle. And if you don't know what that means, there are 4 phases that everybody's bodies go through during sex. And if you pay attention to your body and can recognize the things that work for you and don't work for you, then you can communicate those things with your partner and have an overall better sexual experience. So with those 4 phases, though the phases are the same for men and for women, the difference being is that men typically go through them linearly from beginning to end, typically. For women, we kind of flip-flop back and forth between the phases because our stimulation takes a little bit more to get into, and we can fluctuate where we are. So paying attention and keeping your body in the state of readiness will help you at this particular moment is check the connection because it keeps going out and I'm not sure why. Hopefully that fixes it. Okay, so we were talking about the phases. The first phase is excitement. So when you're in the excitement phase, this is the buildup. Now, the thing about the excitement phase is that most people just don't start out ready to go. You do have some people like that constantly seem horny and ready, and that's not always the case. And it's not always the case for most of us. So as we're going through the process of sex and sexuality, it's how do you get excited and ready and in the mood to have sex? And most of the time, they require triggers. Some of those triggers are visual, like you'll see something, you'll see a partner, he'll do something, she'll do something. You're like, I really got to get into that. Other times it'll be touch. You'll be touched a certain way, or you'll smell something. And whatever it is, there has to be a trigger to kind of get you into the mood. Now, once you're in the mood, then it's the buildup. It's the anticipation for sex. And while you're in this is where it's a physiological response. Women's breasts will get full, your nipples will get hard, a man's penis will get erect, women start to get wet. This is the physiological response of the excitement phase. From there, what you're going to do is go into a different phase. Well, before you go into the next phase, I want to make sure that you know that being in the mood doesn't happen at the same time for everybody. You don't just automatically just get in the mood. So if you're in the mood and your partner is not in the mood, let's see. I have a comment on my post. I don't know what I did with my page. Am I part of the group? Let me see. Try, join. I'll make sure that you're part of the group. Hi, Linda. So if your partner's not in the mood, this is where a little foreplay comes in. And foreplay is not just head. It is not just suck my dick and eat my pussy. It is kissing, touching, massage. You can set a mood. You can put music up. You can, let's see, light candles, take a bath. Do something to entice and enhance the anticipatory moments for sex before the actual penetration. And that is actually the next phase, the plateau. So as you are going through the excitement phase and the buildup, when you plateau is when you actually engage in intercourse or let's put it this way, when you begin with penetration. So with penetration, it can be orally, anally, vaginally, but it's that act. Your body responds to the act of sex, and that driver, and I'm using my hands on purpose, that driver is what kind of fills you, and it builds the arousal. Like, you guys have had sex, you know what that's like. So while you're in the moment, you need to really stay in the moment. Hey, babe. So while you're in the moment, stay in the moment. So kissing and touching, also your body, and I had this conversation with Linda earlier, is that, you know, there are various parts of your body that are considered erogenous zones, but with sensual touch, any part of your body can be an erogenous zone. And the biggest part of your body that is the erogenous zone is your brain. So when it comes to sex, you have to be mentally in as well. So if you're thinking about dishes and bills and what needs to be done, sex is not going to be enjoyable. You need to be thinking about being sexual and being intimate and appreciating the touch that is happening to you, the kissing that is going on. Even if it's a quickie, just understanding that you're in the moment for sex. And that leads all the way up to phase 3. So phase 3 is our favorite part, which is orgasm. Orgasm is very tricky. So let me just remind you that there's a difference between orgasm and ejaculation. Orgasm is a release of energy. Ejaculation is a release of a bodily fluid. And both males and females both orgasm and ejaculate. Women can squirt. But it's not like in pornos where women are squirting across the room. There are some very special and talented women that can do that. Don't expect it from everybody. So when you're orgasm, that release is from all of the other buildup. And so going back to women, you know, we can go from a orgasmic state back to a plateau state, back to an excitement state, because women can orgasm multiple times. However, orgasm for women is not always easy. 75% of women don't orgasm either, and there are different terms. So you can have pre-orgasmic primary, which means you don't orgasm at all, or pre-orgasmic secondary, which means you can orgasm through masturbation, but not with a partner, not through penetrative sex. Most women do not orgasm just from intercourse alone. there has to be clitoral stimulation. And did you know that the clitoris is the only part of the body designed exclusively for sexual pleasure? Only part. So that little button down there is the key to most women's orgasms. However, most women, I'll change that, not most women. There are a lot of women who are really unfamiliar with their bodies because they have not been taught to masturbate and they don't know what it feels like. And even if you haven't, and when I say taught to masturbate, there are classes out there, people who will teach you how to use the toys and use your hands and how to touch yourself to reach a certain state. But in a lot of cases, you don't have a teacher next to you. You can have a coach like myself who can kind of walk you through it. I'm not going to do it for you, but I'll walk you through it. And you can figure out how your body responds to certain touch. And once you know what feels good to you, you will be able to respond in a different way because you can direct your partner or you can direct yourself to the immediate sensation of what feels good to you. And then you'll be able to respond in a beneficial and satisfactory way. So when you're orgasming, you have to breathe. You have to be in the moment. Breathe, moan, touch yourself. Because even if you're not, so most people think that when you orgasm, it's this big, huge explosion and like stuff starts just gushing out everywhere. That's not the case. Orgasms vary in strength and intensity. You can have an orgasm that feels like a flutter, or you can have an orgasm where your whole body shakes. It depends. There are mental, physical, and sometimes astronomical things that have to happen in order for that orgasm to take place. But once it does happen, once you're able to understand and recognize what your body needs to make that release, it's out of this world. So for those women who have difficulty with orgasm, my biggest suggestion is to masturbate more often. Figure out what works for you, what you like, what you don't like. And usually direct clitoral stimulation, like a vibrator or hands directly on the clitoris, is sometimes a little too much. So if you are taking a toy and you go around your vaginal hood, then you're able to indirectly stimulate your clitoris and get a response that is easier to handle. So masturbate often, use toys, use your hands, do it with your partner, but get familiar with your body. Because after orgasm, it's refraction. Your body goes back to its normal state, breathing returns to normal, your body temperature goes down, you lose your erection, the natural lubrication from the woman dries up, and you're back to normal. Now, what it is that you are doing at this point, some people like to get up and go wash the car. I mean, you get burst energy where you want to work out, you want to do something very, very active. Other people want to go straight to sleep. It's a drain of energy, and so you just go to sleep. Sometimes you're in the mood to do it again. And with women, it can happen immediately, while men need a little bit more time to build themselves up. And depending on the man, the time varies. So what you do with that time after orgasm is up to you. But if you are in the space and time to do so, the suggestion is to cuddle with your partner. Physical intimacy after orgasmic release is a bonding experience, is a bonding moment. So if you have the time and opportunity to lay next to your partner and be in the moment, do it. It really is a bonding experience. So live videos. There's so many technical issues that I just can't control. I'm sweating, I'm saying, okay, let's wrap this up because the connection is a little wonky and I'm not sure why. 4 phases. Sexual response cycle has 4 phases: excitement, plateau, orgasm, and resolution, where it goes back to the refractory state. if you listen to your body during these phases, you'll understand what feels good to you, what doesn't feel good to you. If you notice that if you are having rough sex and that feels good to you, you would keep that particular part up. And maybe you didn't know that in your brain, when you're processing this, pain and pleasure are activated by the same parts of the brain. So if you are spanked during sex and you enjoy it, that's because your brain is telling you that it feels good. It's supposed to feel good, which is part of the reason a lot of people are in the BDSM. The pain and pleasure are hand in hand when it comes to sex. There are a lot of things that your body will tell you that you like if you're willing to pay attention. And it doesn't mean shut off what's going on with you and in the moment. It means while you're in the moment, understand what is going on to you. So if he's touching your arm or touching your breast or stroking your hair or in whatever it is, you can say, yes, this turns me on. I like it. Or no, not so much, because if you find something that doesn't work for you, it can create an opposite effect of what you're trying to achieve. So you have to know what doesn't work just as much as you need to know what does work. So with all of that being said, I have a blog post on my website. It's douknky.com. It goes through this in just a little bit more detail. Also, if you are having problems achieving orgasm, and I want to make a note, I think I've said this before, but this is a note for men and women. Men do not give women orgasms. It's impossible. You cannot make her orgasm. What you can do is assist her with her orgasm, because it is a mental state for her, a physical state for her, and she has to be the one in control of it. So please don't rush or say, baby, I'm going to make you. Stay away from that. Avoid it at all costs. When you're listening to your body and you know how to respond to it and what makes you happy and what doesn't, you put yourself in a better place to have a better sexual experience. Bottom line. So follow me on all of the social media platforms. Like I said, IG, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, which has the new channel where this video will be posted. Across social media. Visit the website, subscribe, join the private group. This is a love of mine, because I am convinced that if we as a community are talking more openly about sex, our dialogue would be better, our teachings to our children would be better. We wouldn't have some of the hang-ups and stereotypes that we have in our community. And before I forget, if you're in the Washington, D.C. area, and she actually has a store online, there's another young lady, her name is Shani. My name is Shanae, but we spell it the same way. Most people call me Shani anyway, but her name is Shani Hart. She owns Heart's Desires. She has a store in Washington, D.C., and she has a store in Suitland, Maryland, where it's an upscale adult toy store. Please check her out. She's another young Black woman, entrepreneur, business owner who is trying to promote positive sex in our community and across all communities, because this is not just a Black issue. I just am identifying because I'm a Black woman. So this is my story, our story that I want to share, but this is in no way intended to exclude anybody. But the Black community has a different set of issues with sex and sexuality that don't apply to other communities. And once we start to address that, we'll set ourselves up for a better future. We're dealing with so many other things. Police brutality, our dear president. We have a whole lot of other stuff to worry about. So why is it that we can't have a better dialogue about sex, the thing in life that is supposed to relieve stress and bring us happiness and joy and all of that other stuff? So I am going to say goodnight. It's been about 20 minutes, and sometimes I amaze myself at how long I can talk about this. And this is the abbreviated version. So enjoy your evening. Check out the pages. Join the group. Linda, did you check? Are you in the group? Tell your friends. So tell your friends. Tell your family. Join the dialogue. Have a great evening.